In the shadows of geopolitical intrigue, a barren wilderness held secrets that would forever alter the course of American history. The real reason behind United States' acquisition of Alaska from Russia in 1867 was no mere transaction. It was a calculated move with far-reaching consequences. The ink dried on the historical deal, and to know what was hidden beneath the surface, hit the subscribe button so that we can uncover and unearth the treasures together. The United States bought Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million in 1867 in a massive deal. What the primary motivations behind the acquisition were will blow your mind. Now, you might think about how this affected the US's economy. Well, it turns out that the economic potential of Alaska was quite influential. The US believed that Alaska held significant economic potential, particularly in terms of its vast natural resources. This included fur-bearing animals, timber, minerals, and later gold. A well and strategically curated geopolitical strategy is something that can be seen here. The US sought to prevent European powers, particularly Great Britain, from establishing a stronger presence in the region. Acquiring Alaska ensured American control over a vital part of the Pacific coastline. There is another interesting twist here too. Manifest Destiny. What is Manifest Destiny, you might ask? Well, it's an ambitious move to grow US's territory. The idea of Manifest Destiny, which asserted that it was America's destiny to expand its territory from coast to coast, played a role in the decision. Alaska provided a significant extension of American territory westward. This led to another matter of interest for US folks: strategic naval position. What happens next is quite mind-blowing. You see, the exact intention behind the works out well for the US, their naval entry into the Pacific. The acquisition of Alaska granted the US a strategic naval position in the Pacific, which was of growing importance due to the increased trade with Asia. Yet another way to become powerful. All this started when rumors of Russian willingness to sell. Russia, facing financial difficulties and concerns about the potential loss of Alaska in case of conflict, was willing to sell. Negotiations for the sale were led by US Secretary of State William H. Seward. With that, you might wonder how they expanded after the Civil War. Now, post-Civil War expansion. Post-Civil War expansion refers to the period following the American Civil War, 1861 to 1865. When the US, having emerged from a devastating internal conflict, turned its attention towards territorial growth and development. This era was characterized by a renewed sense of national unity and a desire to expand the boundaries of the nation. After American Civil War, the United States was in a position to consider territorial expansion. Acquiring Alaska was viewed as a strategic move in the wake of conflict. Diplomatic relations. The purchase of Alaska also served to strengthen diplomatic ties between US and Russia. It was seen as a positive gesture between the two nations. The sale of Alaska was mutually beneficial for both the US and Russia. Russia, facing financial difficulties and concerns about the potential loss of Alaska in case of conflict, was willing to sell. This transaction served to strengthen diplomatic ties between the two nations. This was the end of Russia's dominance. The sale marked the end of Russia's territorial presence in North America. By divesting themselves of Alaska, Russia shifted its focus from North American interests, reducing the potential for diplomatic friction in the region. The US acquisition of Alaska removed the potential flashpoint for conflict between Russia and the US. With tensions elsewhere in the world, the removal of a contested territory from the equation contributed to stability in diplomatic relations. With that, it's impossible to ignore how it affected the US's relationship with Great Britain. The acquisition of Alaska also had implications for the US relationship with Great Britain. The British had interest in the Pacific Northwest, and the US purchase of Alaska solidified American control over the entire Pacific coastline. This contributed to a clearer demarcation of territorial boundaries and potentially reduced tensions between the two nations in the Pacific region. Gold rush and economic return. In the 1890s, the Klondike Gold Rush brought a significant influx of wealth and population to Alaska, further justifying the purchase. While the purchase was initially met with skepticism and even derision, in some quarters Alaska would go on to prove its worth many times over in terms of natural resources and strategic significance. Today it stands as an integral part of the US with a rich cultural, economic, environmental heritage. Alaska, once dismissed as a a frozen wasteland revealed itself as a treasure trove of riches, echoing through time as proof to the audacity of nations and the boundless possibilities that lie within their grasp. As the northern lights dance over the snow-capped peaks of the last frontier, they cast a luminescent glow on this chapter of history. If you are intrigued by how the destiny of this nation was forever altered, hit the subscribe button and like the video. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you don't miss another interesting chapter on history's greatest geopolitics storybook.